how do we better what we can do in the building industry? Construction activities account for 30% of the annual global carbon emissions. Most people don't even know the construction industry is the single largest global consumer of resources, raw materials. It consumes 40% of the global steel production and 3 billion tonnes of raw material each year. Sustainability lowering construction embedded carbon requires reverse engineering the entire design, procurement, manufacture and assembly value chain, which is where Viridi steps in and adds value. So I've always had a fascination, with working with timber and working in the residential sector. I left school and started a carpentry apprenticeship where I was working on renovating houses, cutting in roofs and doing sort of extensions and some smaller builds. I then got out of the building industry altogether and got into some retail, into a family business. Then sort of in my mid-20s, I got back into commercial construction. I started as a CA, contract administrator, and worked all my way through to being a project manager. So then I got into commercial construction, building retail, building high-rise, building industrial and commercial, where then I stepped into my own business with my brothers. And through that, we did a whole lot of residential work in the housing game, medium density, high-rise apartments, and some commercial buildings. And then obviously through being construction, I saw wastage everywhere. So trying to work on methodologies on how can we reduce waste through the whole industry. We're adopting the CLT approach to minimise the use of concrete. CLT is cross-laminated timber. It's when the timber lamellas are cross-laminated to provide integral strength in a panel. We can build a 10-storey building with 6 to 8 carpenters. Conventionally, with using concrete, a 10-storey building, you'd have anywhere from 60 to 120 people each day on site. So safety facts, but then also the environmental effect of actually producing the concrete, pulling the materials out of the earth. They're not renewable. We're actually growing this timber. For every cubic metre of timber, we're storing 1 tonne of carbon. Just in the growth phase of timber, we're actually bettering our environment that we're living in every day. Here we are at the Incubator Hub in Macquarie Park. The design was to integrate timber. We have a roof structure here that was actually produced. It's 2,000 square metres of roof, produced in a factory, cassetted. They're 21 metres long, 4 metres wide, and we're putting about 1,000 square metres of roofing installed every night. In the building behind me, there is somewhat of 4,500 cubic metres of timber. So stored carbon in this job is around about 4,500 tonnes of carbon stored in this project. We've actually stopped carbon being created and we've stored carbon in the materials that we've actually used. Conventionally, this job would normally take around about 8 to 9 months in the structure. We delivered it in timber in 5 months. Typically, this building would be concrete, but we've only used concrete in the basement structure, and everything above that for the 6 stories has been built out of timber. We've actually stopped the creation of 2,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide or CO2 emissions. TrueGreen have brought the best leaders from the construction industry to form Viridi Group, which is going to provide advanced manufacturing and solutions to the construction industry.